Thank you for tuning in to this special episode of the Hood Report. We're sitting here with David Whitt. He's a co-founder of WeCopWatch. They hold Know Your Rights training, let you know about the importance of filming, having those cameras, and most importantly, what to do with that video. So let's start off with Dave by asking him, when did you get into CopWatch?
So I got in filming the police right after Mike Brown was killed in Canfield. So the information was brought to us. A guy by the name of Jacob came out there from Oakland, California. CopWatch is something that's been going on for a long time. So when it came, I thought that was important. So I supported that part where getting people that information. So yeah, that's when I started. So it was more, when I got into it, it was more than just, filming the police. It was always about getting people that information about, knowing their rights and then what to do with that video.
Okay, and so out of WeCopWatch, I heard you mention Jacob's name. You, Jacob, and a couple others. You're all directors now on a documentary, Ground Zero Ferguson. So would you like to tell us about that documentary?
Yeah, so that documentary, it's a story basically based on events that took place after. It's like the aftermath of what happened with Mike Brown being killed, like far as the community-wise. There's a lot of documentaries that's already been out, this one is, it's about the community. And so it's about, how the community dealt with this death and, a couple of things that actually did happen in the neighborhood, like, the police that got kicked out at a few points. Like shortly after Mike was killed, like it actually changed. We held trainings right in Canfield. We had gave body cameras out. That was noteworthy. I thought that was important, to be able to, tell that story about, people, thinking to themselves, like, what can we do? And first, hey, we need to start, paying attention when they come in our neighborhood. So that was important for me.
Okay, and so with, once again, so many documentaries being made, like you said, why did you choose to make this documentary about Ferguson?
Well, because it is because a lot of these stories is out, and it's like it's that narrative that they still haven't heard, and that's the story of the people. Like what what were the people doing? How did this affect that community? Like we never hear about that stuff. There was a whole lot of people went to jail, people lost their homes, people lost their jobs, little children, seeing this young man get killed. So, it affected a whole community, and it was a moment in time where I seen firsthand, people actually thinking about like, what are we gonna do, as opposed to, the narrative like everybody's looking towards the state to fix this problem, and we looked at ourselves like, man, what we gonna do if they come back, And so that was a real beautiful story, and I like how, how the transition from this memorial that was in the street, how that transition from us just standing outside, when watching over this memorial to like, oh, now we're gonna start, filming the police around this, around the area. Now we got reasons for being outside, and also just how just cops knowing that we were in that neighborhood, the way that the policing changed, and I don't think at that time, nowhere, in St. Louis was the police like in check how they was in our neighborhood, like little kids weren't getting stopped anymore. That was noteworthy, like people needed to actually see that. We got hard drive. It's so much video that we have had over the years that we'll be able to show people like the actual transition. How did it really look when the cops came in after Mike Brown was killed? How did they treat the community? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's gonna be it's real deep though.
Okay, and the Mike Brown memorial. What was the real importance of the memorial? Because you have the memorial. The memorial is in the documentary. Why did you choose to use it?
Well, because the memorial was you know what I'm saying, this was that thing that, you know, Mike Brown's death, you know, happened in this area, and that thing that was a constant reminder, you know what I'm saying, on a day-to-day, at least for the immediate community, was this memorial that was in the middle of the street, you know what I'm saying, and how and how, you know, this thing was in the middle of the street for such a long time. It was in the street for, I believe, almost a full year before it was ultimately taken down. There's a story about that. Nobody's ever, you know, nobody ever has talked about like what happened, the transformation, how, you know, how did this happen? And I think that in this documentary also it will show how the system systematically, you know, kept our people, you know, divided at this time where we were actually united. You know, we were starting to at least work together. We were seeing each other. And so they figured out these ways, you know, the state ultimately was the one that, you know, decided to get this memorial out of this community. But there, you know, there was a point where the memorial was constantly being rebuilt. Like the memorial was rebuilt every year after his death. You know, that's noteworthy. I keep saying this because, you know, I had to make a note of this. We got to put this in here. So that's the beauty thing about me, you know, directing this, because I was living in there. So, you know, this is a story that's close to my heart. This was a community that took me in. I'm not from St. Louis. I'm from D.C., born and raised. You know, I've been living in St. Louis now. This will be 7 years now. You know, these people, you know, that I met, you know what I'm saying, like they, you know what I'm saying, took a liking to me. It was, you know what I'm saying, it was love and respect, you know, for the ones that I've met. Now, you know, it's a lot of people out here, but I believe that a lot of good, you know, people have gravitated my way, and I was just happy to have, you know, in these 7 years, met all these people.
Okay. And the official, well, one of the official pages is Facebook. You have the Ground Zero Ferguson page. On that page, there's an IndieGoGo setup. You want to tell us about that?
So the IndieGoGo is a fund that we set up so that we can crowdsource and raise money so we can put the finishing touches to this documentary. So like right now, today, I'm here, I'm still editing, getting stuff, you know, together so we can, you know, finish, you know, complete this whole thing and take it to the master editor and, you know, just a whole lot of different things. And this IndieGoGo, you know, it's going to help raise money so we can finish this and get it on the big screen, you know, get it out in circulation, and, you know, because it's different things that it's just different things. Anyway, the IndieGoGo, while I'm stumbling over all my words, right? Anyway, the IndieGoGo, it's like you can donate, you know, at $10 intervals, $5 intervals. There's also there's a few perk options on there where you can, if you donated $35 or something, like you could get a T-shirt or something like that, and something else. So it's there's a lot of good stuff in there. But the main thing, you can go in there and there's got little bylaws, you know, the people like myself who's directing it, Jacob. We've also had like people supporting this documentary like this, and like I said before, this IndieGoGo is so important because for the 4 years that we've been working on this documentary, we haven't had any funding to this. So we had people that donated. We had a guy from Germany that you know, donated his you know 4K camera. It was a you know, Blue Magic. And so this was for, you know, and he gave us 2 cameras and a Sony one. So it was great. We had production equipment so we can get those interviews that you would need to pull those stories together to make a real nice you know piece.
All right, so in and out, man, when can we expect to see it, man? You got a release date set for it?
Yeah, so we expect to release it before the anniversary. This will be the 5th year anniversary, so I think we want to put it out around that time, seeing as whole that, you know, this whole documentary was inspired by this incident that happened. So we want to make sure that we always, you know, pay our respects without exploiting, a situation, because definitely a lot of us had got our start from what happened there. So we always got to reflect back about this young man passing and, creating that fire and igniting that brush.
All right. So there you have it, man. That was David Whitt, co-founder of WeCopWatch, one of the directors for an upcoming documentary, Ground Zero Ferguson. In the caption, you can click on, you'll be able to go to the link to the page to be able to check out the IndieGoGo that he was speaking about. You'll also be able to see the cover video. The cover video is actually a small trailer for the documentary, so you might want to go on there and check out that. And that seems to be about it. So this was Street Talk. This is the Hood Report. We out.